Good evening, fellas. Yes, the weekend is almost over. We actually had a what's it called? A prolonged weekend. We had a Tuesday, a Thursday, and Friday off as well, due to some Danish holidays. So 4 days in a row, the weather was perfect, like 18, 20 degrees. It's perfect for the spring here. So it's been fantastic. I've been gathering some charts here over the weekend that we need to look at. From various accounts that I follow. Highly recommend you to also follow these guys. They are really good at what they do. They each have their own way of charting, of saying things and all that, but each to their own. They are really good at their stuff, so check them out. They will not disappoint you. Also, I have to say this, as you know, Substack is where I do most of my work, so join me there if you want the more detailed stuff. Just did a post on some silver and gold stock that on a weekly basis looks very close to some big breakouts there into the stage 2 incline for those. So if that's something for you, check it out. Check it out. Good. The retweets for YouTube, we got to go down. We got to go down here. These are from Rashad here. Let's zoom in so you can see this actually. Silver's breakout from a 3-year inverse head and shoulders pattern will be no joke. I completely agree, by the way. 130 is crossed. It's almost likely goes parabolic, catching most by surprise. Oh, yes. What he's pointing to here is that the left shoulder over there, the massive, massive, massive head, and then there will be like a teeny tiny right shoulder over there. Also, we have this inverted head and shoulders here in the middle, which we broke and we triggered at 26. So we have a measured move from roughly 17, 18. So that's like a $10 move. So that is, that's targeting, in the middle of 30. Just from that fractal alone. And then you have the biggest off as well. So silver, I like the silver a lot. I really do. Trend spider here with Peekaboo. That's KO. That's the Coca-Cola. This is a, what's that, a 2-year breakout here. What I like is that we did actually come up and then we actually went sideways and then we broke. So we did, pause for a bit here, even though this is the weekly, I would assume. Yeah, the weekly. And we have had 4 big green weeks there in a row, but still it is a breakout. Also, I think there's a line coming across here, so we are onto some resistance here. But anyways, Coca-Cola, it pays, I think, like 3-4% dividend. So if you every time you just buy the dips, like a 10% dip, you add to it. Great for the dividend portfolio, by the way. The Great Martish here, the 2 largest economies in the globe, has significantly diverged. You can see here again, this is the Dow Jones until, funnily enough, here 2020, 2021, they were pretty much aligned, right? And then the Dow Jones went, on a tear, and the Hang Seng, the Chinese one, went down. These jaws here, as you know, they call alligator jaws. They need to close, and I do think they will meet in the middle somewhere. I do think that is the case. So they will probably meet here, roughly in this range here. That's a big, kick in the teeth for the US, and some decent gains there in the Chinese. But again, it could be anyone's guess. But these, since the US and China are so dependent on each other, this one will meet. I'm confident on that one. The Great Martish, the Great Martish again here. Nasdaq versus Bitcoin. I'm not going to read it here, but basically I want to show you, and again, I'm not bashing on Bitcoin by any means, but people are saying that Bitcoin is, or this and that and all that good stuff. If you overlay to the Nasdaq, Bitcoin is basically like a 3x the Nasdaq with regard to volatility and price increases. You can see the symmetry right there. So until that link, gets broken, that's all that it is. Bitcoin is heavy tech, and it is new tech, obviously, for the blockchain and all that. But yeah, By the way, I did my best trade in Bitcoin, so I'm not bashing on it. I'm just saying, you know, it is nothing more than leverage tech, nothing more, nothing less, in my opinion. Trend spider here, 3 daily wedges popping up on the scanner this afternoon. Looks juicy. So here, the first we have square, just a nice little, what's that, 2-month worth of March, April, actually more or less 2 monthly wedge there, 2 monthly, and a 2 monthly wedge here. And as you know, the probabilities are to the upside in these one here. So let's see. Rashad here again with the gold price. Also here, gold price action throughout the May and then the breakout in June. And yeah, that's also something that I've been mentioning. And on my channel and all that, I think June will be the month where we could actually potentially break. We have done a lot of work down here. You can see we had that nice little trend line break there. We popped, and now we're consolidating a bit here. I do think we will get into the 2,400s, and then there will be some selling, some pausing. And I actually completely agree with this analogy here for gold. That's a very, it has a high probability of playing out this one here. You can also see if you add across there, that wick, and then you'll actually tag it here. So when we break, it's basically one giant bull flag. So it could go even faster, right? If you have this one giant bull flag coming across here for gold. I love gold. It's one of the times you need to be in gold here. Massively long thread here by my good friend, my good man, Grady. I have him on, you know, these Twitter recaps a lot. He has some great charting ratios. If you want to see a lot of different things, ratios, all that good stuff here, Grady is the man to go to. This is EXK, the weekly, so this is Endeavor Silver. Look at the damage here from roughly 6 down to almost 1 here, 1.5. Just basically one big, you know, expanding a tiny bit here. Maybe you could add, you know, the wicks there. That might be a bit more, you know, on point. But anyways, what he's showing here makes sense here. Look at that rally there, boom, all the way up. It is very extended, and we have broken out here. So it's not like this is in my view, a buying opportunity, but it just shows you that when these silver miners and also gold miners, when they move, they take no prisoners. And the pullbacks that you're getting here are often very shallow. You don't get these textbook, you know, bull flags and ABC, maybe even, you know, 1 to 5 corrections. These are just, they can rip pretty heavily. Over here, you had a nice one though, but still, EXK. Grady again here. This is also gold. You can see the breakout there. We had that, you know, Chinese open overnight wick. Then we bull flag, boom, then we popped. And yeah, this is a 4-year chart. You know, you can see that invert head and shoulders also. And it's just, yeah, I have no bad things to say about gold, that every opportunity that you get in gold is a buy, you know, every pullback, bull flag. The trend is up heavily on all time frames. And what's most important, the long-term time frames, the monthly and weekly. Beautiful. T-bird here with UUU. This is Energy Fuels, by the way. With a good week of depressed bottom, price now about the 50 DMA, and both oscillators are positive. Again, he uses oscillators a lot, especially the MACD. You can see it's positive. The faster one is above the slow one there. It's pretty nice how washed out this got, and clearly insiders agree. Also, on the Substack, we looked at that 1, 2, 3. We even had like 4. So we had like 4 spills, and usually it stops at the 3rd. And we issued the buy signal when we got above that pivot low and that cluster there. That's when we were turned very bullish on the UUU. For the same reason as T-Bird mentioned, that it was very hated. And if you look at it on a 10-year basis, you actually have a massive inverted head and shoulders in the making, where this is the right shoulder, in my opinion. So UUU, uranium, that's one. It's gonna be nice, I think. T-Bird here, UEC, also uranium, down slightly on the week. Oscillator still positive, but rolling over. Price continues to stay above the 50 DMA. You can see here the MACD here basically just oscillating between the zero line there. But I want to show you this trend line coming down from this high here to here, and then you can see it's very well defined here. So getting above roughly 7.6, as you can see 7.5 here on UEC, then you're back in the game again heavily. No questions asked there. So nice consolidation for now for UEC. Axel. Europe, this is basically the Europe stocks, the SOXX 600 companies, which adds to the recent strength. You can see this is a 20-year long, basically sideways move here. You had the peak in 2000, dump, then you had the GFC, dump, you tagged it again, and then almost breakout. You had the March 2020 madness, and then breakout, retesting, resumption. So overall, the European stocks, they don't look as bad as people might think. North Star here, Kevin. Something's up with the Bitcoin versus Cameco. So this is a ratio chart. By the way, North Star or Kevin here also does a lot of great, different views that I, I'm not always looking at. For instance, like Bitcoin versus Cameco or ratios. I mean, a lot of very well described, great commentary to the chart. You have to follow Kevin if you want to be, a part of the this whole investing cycle that is commodities, and also Nasdaq and all that he does as well. But he's really good. So Bitcoin versus Cameco, up until the arc touched 3, the longest it had taken BTC to reach this new high versus Cameco was 2 years. BTC has currently gone nowhere versus Cameco in 6.5 years. That's actually pretty amazing. So Kevin is also really good at these arcs, as you can see here. You can see the momentum. Massive momentum, big momentum, small momentum, potential, touch of the arc there, lower high, potentially a rollover. You can clearly see the momentum here is down, but you also have to, again, Bitcoin has been crushing every single asset basically for the past 10 years. There's no denying that. It doesn't matter if you hate or love Bitcoin, it has done really well. But I do think that also it's, that's another discussion. Anyways, Cameco here is outperforming, and also you could maybe note like a small topping pattern there with that head and shoulders. So like we have the neckline coming across here. So that's an interesting one to see, because Cameco is the blue chip of uranium, and Bitcoin is obviously the blue chip of crypto. So if Cameco can start to outperform the blue chip, that being Bitcoin, that's a good sign if you're invested into uranium. Kevin again, gold versus Bitcoin this time. Something subtly changing here. So the trend line coming down here, you can see the breakout, and then we are fizzling, basically tagging again here. We are at support at roughly this ratio, 0.038. So this is one to follow, really. Also, he has this, the distance to the 3-year moving average, you can see it's coming up here with higher highs and higher lows versus that 3-year moving average, which I know he uses a lot. I think it's the 3 and 7-year is one of those that he uses a lot. So also, again, gold there doing mighty fine. Uranium miners, just a polite reminder. So again, I actually mentioned this in the in one of my last videos, where I did the ratio, the uranium ratios versus other things here, that uranium against the SPX, which was one of the ratios that I looked at. Even though I think I mentioned something like, the uranium trade is actually, it's not getting that much appreciation of what it has really done. SPX has done really well, everyone is bullish there, but actually the uranium trade has done like 100%, 80% better than the SPX. So think about that. Also, you have a trend line coming across here, or level, and yeah, that's the big one to get from. You can see the pivot there across the pivots. When we get above there, uranium is going to destroy the SPX big time. Massive stage 4 decline, sideways action, stage 1, and we are about to potentially confirm here within the next few weeks or month here. So that's a beautiful, great cup there for or chart there from North Star. That's it, guys. that is all. Great charting here from the people. Again, follow these guys. They have each to their own the ways they're doing it. As you can see, the charting is different. Some use oscillators, some don't. I mean, but that's why I follow them, to give a different perspective on the things that I follow as well, which is gold, silver, uranium, also crypto, platinum, oil, gas, all that good stuff. Shipping as well, we also do. So guys, it's been a pleasure here. Have a great weekend, and hopefully you will have a great week in the markets. Yeah, bye.